Dr. NGR Educational and Research Institute, University, Madurai, Chennai. Dr. NGR Educational and Research Institute, University, Madurai, Chennai.
Education is the movement from darkness to light, quoted by Alan Bloom. A very warm and good afternoon to everyone who is present here. I welcome you all to a one-day national level webinar on methods and approaches of quantitative research in writing research articles, organized by Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute, Phase 2, Adayalambettu Campus. I am R. Nandini Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, shall be your host for the day. It gives me an immense pleasure to extend a warm welcome to our eminent speaker of the day, Dr. G. Susindran, Assistant Professor, School of Computing Sciences, Department of Information Technology, Wells Institute of Science, Technology and Advanced Studies, Chennai. I would like to give my heartiest welcome to our organizers of this webinar, Dr. S. Manivannan, Dean, Dr. A.R. Arunachalam, Deputy Dean Academic, Dr. R. Sendil Kumar, Deputy Dean Administration, and Dr. R. Naharatnam, HOD in charge, Department of Mathematics, Phase 2. And Ms. Akshaya, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Technical in charge of this program. Our institution has organized this webinar for the benefit of faculty members, academicians, and other participants. I wholeheartedly welcome all the doctorates, professors, faculty members, and other participants from all over the world. The main aim of this program is to provide a better the participants to gain sufficient knowledge in quantitative research in research articles. Hope you will have a fruitful experience with some key points to take away at the end of this webinar. Now, I would like to call upon Dr. R. Naharatnam, HOD in charge, Department of Mathematics, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I would like to start with a famous quote: research is a creative and systematic work undertaken to increase the stock of knowledge. Quantitative research is the process of collecting and analyzing numerical data. It can be used to find patterns and averages, make predictions, test causal relationships, and generalize results to wider populations. I am Dr. Nagaratnam, HOD in charge, Department of Mathematics. I am very happy to propose the welcome address for this one-day national level webinar on methods and approaches of quantitative research in writing research article. At this beautiful moment, I express my gratitude to our beloved founder chancellor, A.C. Shanmugam, and our honorable president, engineer A.C.S. Arun Kumar, for giving wonderful platform to conduct various workshops during this crucial situation. I would like to welcome our Vice President, Dr. M.K. Batmanabhan, for granting us to conduct the seminar which is needed in this era. It's an honor and privilege to welcome our energetic Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi Ma'am. I consider it a great honor to welcome the Joint Registrar, Phase 2, Dr. S. Ramalingam, and our young and dynamic Dean, Dr. S. Manivannan, Phase 2 Campus, who has been always inspiring and motivating us in all aspects to bring out different kinds of informative programs to enrich the knowledge of students as well as the teaching faculty during this pandemic time. I am happy to welcome our Deputy Dean Admin, Dr. Senthil Kumar, and Deputy Dean Academic, Dr. A.R. Arunachalam, for their valuable suggestions and encouragements towards the workshop. I welcome our eminent resource persons of the portion of this work seminar, Dr. G. Susindran, Assistant Professor, School of Computing Sciences, Department of Information Technology, Wales Institute of Science, Technology and Advanced Studies, Chennai 17, who have accepted our invitation to share his knowledge with us. I am immensely happy to welcome Dr. Johnson, HOD, Department of Mathematics, Dr. MGR Educational Research Institute, and my dear staffs in our department. I also welcome the August gathering of eminent professors and research scholars from various states and countries to gain knowledge through this session. And I appreciate your valuable presence at this difficult time. I hope this workshop will be an eye opener for all the participants across the nation. I would like to thank all the staffs of Mathematics for their effort and team spirit, which is the base of any event. I again welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. I now call upon Dr. A.R. Arunachalam, Deputy Dean, Academic Phase 2, to deliver the felicitation address.
So thank you, ma'am. So on behalf of Dr. MGR Education Research Institute, Adelbert Phase 2 campus, I would like to welcome you all to this national level webinar on methods and approaches of quantitative research in writing research article. To start with, I would like to thank our Honorable President, Engineer A.C. Arun Kumar sir, for giving us approval to conduct this national level webinar. And I really thank him for his enormous support towards conducting a lot of online activities with regards to webinar workshops, FDP programs, conferences, symposiums, where all the departments of our university have been conducting a lot of online activities, choosing resource people from other universities, MNCs, and choosing the right topic, which are all the need for the hour, I could say. So today is another day, another event from our university, conducted by the Department of Mathematics. So at this moment of time, I would like to thank and I would really like to appreciate the department HOD, Dr. R. Nagaratna ma'am, and other faculty coordinators, especially Nandini Devi ma'am, Vaila ma'am, and Akshaya ma'am, who is taking care of the technical part. So I really appreciate the department for taking the effort to conduct this national level webinar by choosing a very interesting and as well as a very important topic, I could say. And also the resource persons are always very important for a particular successful session. And today I think we have another good speaker, Dr. G. Susindran, who is assistant professor at School of Computing Sciences at Wales Institute of Science, Technology and Advanced Studies. So thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation, for spending your valuable time with us to take this wonderful webinar. And I also really appreciate and thank all the participants for taking your time to register for this national webinar and spending your time on such kind of valuable knowledge transfer activities, where you will learn a lot of things through these kind of sessions which we have been organizing. And today, as you all know, quantitative research is always very important when you talk about writing research articles, where you collect and analyze numerical data, I could say. So it's all about numerical data, where you collect and where you analyze all these kinds of numerical data, and also where you can find different patterns and then finding averages. So I think all these things are very important as far as writing research article is concerned. So I think today we have a very good speaker who is going to talk about the approaches of quantitative research, which is very important in writing research article. So definitely it will be a wonderful session and a good takeaway through the end of the session. So I wish the department all the best, and I wish this event a grand success. And I also thank the department for giving me an opportunity to talk a few words about this today's webinar. So wish you all grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I kindly request Mrs. A. Viola, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, to introduce our eminent chief guest to the audience.
A warm good afternoon to everyone who has me here. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Dr. G. Susendran, Assistant Professor, School of Computing Science, Department of Information Technology, World's Institute of Science, Technology and Advanced Studies. He did his MSc and MPhil in Annamalai University and PhD in Presidency College, University of Madras. He has obtained DOEACC O-Level AICTE Ministry of Administration Technology and Honor Diploma in Computer Programming. He has 10 years of teaching experience in both UG and PG levels. His research interest includes wireless sensor network, ad hoc network, IoT, data mining, cloud computing, image processing, knowledge-based system, web information exploration. He has produced 4 MPhil and 7 PhD research scholars. He has published more than 105 research papers in various international journals such as Springer Book Chapter, Scopus, and UGC referred journals, and 30 papers in various international conferences. He has edited or authored 17 books and received 7 awards and has been acknowledged globally as a top reviewer by Publoons. He has been invited to be a resource person at many reputed national and international universities and colleges. Sir, you have made all of us proud by your various capacity with numerous qualities. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I now welcome up the speaker of the day, Dr. G. Susendran, to proceed with his presentation. Before I hand over the session, I request all the participants to sit back and enjoy the session and not to worry about the attendance and feedback. Information about the feedback link will be given at the end of the session. Now, I request our beloved chief guest to take over the session and enrich us with his knowledge.
Okay, so very good afternoon and great afternoon for one and all who has presented this for today's section of one-day national level webinar organized by Dr. MGR Education and Research Institute by the Faculty of Humanities and Science, Department of Mathematics. I once again thank the organizer, Dean, and the management who has given a wonderful opportunity to define this topic, methods and approaches of quantitative research in writing research article. Is it audible? My presentation is visible? The screen is visible, madam?
Yes, sir, you can proceed. Your screen is visible.
Thank you. Okay. So some of my international books from Springer and CRC Press and Wiley, this is there, and some of actually these are my edited books, and these are my publication of books. Around 17 books are there. Okay, coming to our topic, research. Research is nothing but it's a systematical collection, analysis, and interpretation of data to answer for a certain questions or to solve a problem. So that is a research. Okay, so we have to have a systematic collection of
Excuse
analysis.
me, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, please make the PowerPoint in the full screen, sir.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Research is a systematic collection, analysis, and interpretation of data to answer for a certain questions or to solve a problem. Now, look at this picture shows you where the researchers are finding the solutions. Where and the other pictures on the right hand side shows you where we have to move. What are the questions has to be raised to solve for a particular problem. So that is a research. Now, if you come to a research cycle, first of all, we have to think and plan. The first step of your research cycle is think and plan. Then you have to go for discover. Then gather all the analysis. Then write a paper and share your paper to the others. This is a research cycle. Before writing any research paper, you have to be first step is think. Just sit and think what we are going to do. Then you can go for discover, and then you can get the analysis of data. You can collect the data. What are the data are already available? Then you can write the paper and share the paper. Now, coming to the research gap, what is a research gap actually? So we have to identify the broad area. First of all, we have to identify the broad. You should not have for a small idea, whatever. Your idea should be a broad. You have to think broad. So where and all the things can be occur. Identifying your broad area is a main key to fix the research gap. Next one is the research gap should be identify the methods. What methods we have to use to adapt or to fill that research gap. The picture shows you the research gap. Viability of the research gap. That is, you have to raise the questions. What are the questions to be answered in the research gap? And selection of the research gap should be main important. And after this, the expected outcome. What is after filling the research gap? What is our output? What is our result? So that has to be derived, has to be analyzed from this research gap section. Now coming to this, the difference between what is a research gap and a knowledge gap. The two pictures shows you what we know is nothing but a knowledge gap. What we practice day to day is nothing but a research gap. So the picture shows you, the two pictures on the right hand side shows you what we know. So that is nothing but it's a knowledge gap. So it's a need to be filled by a new research. Either because we know a little or nothing. When the research gaps comes from between the discovery of knowledge or relevant to the practice and the time. So keep on practicing. That will make the research gap to be fulfilled. Now coming to the quantitative and qualitative research. That's our topic, quantitative and qualitative research. The picture shows you is a quantitative is nothing but it's a structured data, where the qualitative is nothing but it's unstructured data. Here the data can be a statistical analysis. Here the data can be summary. Objectives and conclusion can be taken place in the quantitative research. Here only the subjective is conclusion. Next, survey and experimental research. Here it is nothing but as a group discussion and observations. So now we are going to see what is this and what is quantitative research and qualitative research. So here in the qualitative research is nothing but a group discussion. You can get the data from through your group discussion and everything. It is nothing but here it is by a survey. It's experimental research that comes from the qualitative research. So identifying the problem, solving that problem. So with a real-time example, with a real-time problem, so that comes under the quantitative. It is here, we are assumption, we are taking the result and we are predicting the observation. That's from the qualitative research. Now coming, what are the steps, the qualitative research process? First of all, the research problems and purpose. Next one is literature review, study of the frame, objectives, questions, and study variables and assumption, limitation and methodology, theoretical, research design, population and sample methods and methodology. So these are the some of the methods of the measurement. So these are the some of the steps to be followed for the quantitative research process. First of all, we have to find out the research problem and what is the purpose of that research problem. Then we have to collect all the literature review of that particular paper or particular problem, and identifying that particular, and we have to frame the entire study. Then what are the limitations as for that particular problem should be identified, and what method we are going to adopt, then the theoretical, then after that we have to design it. So this is steps to be followed by the quantitative research process. Okay, now quantitative research method is that there are types of example. Now we are going to see one by one. Techniques and types of studies, data collection methodology, data analysis techniques. You can see somebody maybe through the data collection, data analysis. What is this? There is nothing but it comes under the quantitative research of the primary. So main thing is technical and types of what are the technicals and what are the types of the study to be addressed for the research method, and what are the data collection and methodology we are going to see, and what data analysis techniques should be there. Now coming to the techniques and types of study, you had this much types. One is survey research, correlation research, casual comparative research, and experimental research. So these are the techniques. Say research, we can do research. So what are the techniques we have to follow? So somebody may do, so technique, it has this much types of technique. Survey, what is meant by survey research? What is the correlation research? What is meant by casual and comparative research and experimental research? Research is only one you can see, just writing paper. So there are types of techniques, types of research to be included while doing your research. Now coming to the survey research. Yeah, the picture shows you. The survey research is the most fundamental tools for all quantitative research methodology and studies. Survey used to ask questions to a sample of respondent using various types such as online polls, online survey, and papers, questionnaires, and web interactions and survey. So this is a survey research. So you can post your questions to any media, either by WhatsApp or in the online or Facebook, whatever thing, you can post the questions. You can ask, you can get a survey. So in your area, how much COVID persons are there? So you can get how much percent our throat is infected. There is a statistical questionnaires we have to frame. After framing that questionnaire, you can send to your friends or your media, whatever things. So you can collect those data. So that data, from the collected data, you are arriving one research problem. So that comes under the survey research. For example, during the COVID situation, a day by day, a patient is increasing. So that is about survey. So that comes under the survey research. Now, what is a correlation research? Yeah, that's the main thing. As students, as attendance, it's a main correlation research. A comparison between the two entities is an invariable. Correlation research is conducted by establishing relation between the two closely related linked entities, and how what impact with other and what changes that are eventually observed. Now, seeing this picture, if students is missing the most classes and get the lower grade, the suggestion is that there is causal relationship between attendance and overall performance, because the students are attending the classes. Due to that classes, if they are attending less classes, then the percentage of grade will be less, and also the portion what they know is very less knowledge. So this is related with the students as well as attendance can be the key entity, that is a key relationship between the two entities. This comes under the correlation relation research. Okay, now coming to this, there are three types of correlation research. So you can see this: naturalistic observation, survey method, and archival research. This example shows you naturalistic observation. See, there are two kids who is doing some playing other things in the in that cabin. So when madam is writing the observation, what the male child is doing and what the female child is doing. So this observation will be by naturalistic observation. Next one is survey method. So a person is sitting on the table and giving some sample to the two person what they are doing it. So the collecting that information is come from the survey method. Next is archival research. Archival research is nothing but it's experimental research which can be taken place by the mission or by the lab. So that type of experimental research is comes under archival research. So these are the three types of correlation research. So now comes to the cross-section survey. So here the cross-section is or the observational survey conducted in this situation where the researchers intend to collect the data from the sample of a targeted population at given point in a time. See here, you can see one example I show. Through the survey, this one variable will stay constant. For example, a film in a hero. So that is a cross-sectional survey. So only one variable. So throughout the data, he remains the constant. Okay. So that type of relation, that type of survey and research comes under the cross-sectional survey. Research can be evaluated various variables at particular time. Now, longitudinal survey. Longitudinal survey. What is a longitudinal? So during this COVID situation, the patients may be increases, affected person can be increased by day to day. So that type of things can be result can be arise or conducted across the various time duration, particular time duration. So to be observed changes in the respondent behavior and thought process. See here, you can see this from 15 to the May. So you had data can be increases from 1000, less than 1000, then greater than 1000, according to this. So this type of survey result is called a longitudinal survey research. So it will be vary from the day to day, time to time, month to month, and years. So this type of study is like our climate changes, climatic. This comes under the longitudinal survey. Next one is called independent and dependent variable. What is the independent and dependent variable? So dependent variable is nothing but total number of hours spent on online. So students, how much hours he is spending in their classes, that comes from the dependent variable. What is the independent variable? A student categorized by their age, gender, and relationships. So those are comes under this independent variable, and this is a dependent variable. Now you can see this independent and dependent. So experimental are the test scores impacted by the amount of time spent sleeping at the night before the test. They can get more score. But if you are not they can slip it. So that is the independent and dependent variable. Next one is called casual comparative research. What is the comparative research? This research at the relationship between the years of experience and job satisfaction. So that comes under the casual comparative research. The casual comparative research is one of the hypotheses where teachers with a high level of experience will give you more satisfied with their jobs than the teacher with a low level of experience. So such a type of research is called a casual comparative research. It has a relationship between a number of years of experience with the job satisfaction. So what are the variables available for the casual comparative research is, it's a dependent job satisfaction and independent is a number of years. So these are the two level of high and low level of the variable used for this casual comparative research. Okay, next one is called experimental research. What is experimental research? Is nothing but it's a theory. This theory has not been proven in the past year and merely supposition. In experimental research, an analysis is done around proving or disproving the statement. This research method is used in natural sciences. See here, you can see the picture shows you a control and the experimental. So without the manpower, the experimental research can be taken by this example which is shown here. Okay, so this known as a true experimental research method can be followed by the real-time example. Data collection methodology, how we have to collect the data. There are step 1 and steps 2. One is a sampling method and using survey and poll methods. So these are the two types of data collection methodologies can be taken place. What is sampling method? It has a called simple random sampling and stratified random sampling and cluster sampling and systematic sampling. So these are the 4 types of sampling methods in a research to be carried out in a data collection. First one is survey distributions. So where you can get the survey by using distributing by email and buying respondent, embedded survey in the website and social media and QR code and SMS survey. So these are some of the example can be taken place in this survey method. Using poll or primary quantitative research. So what are the primary and quantitative research is? A poll that are method to collect feedback with the close-ended questions from the samples. So we can collect the feedback from the data what you are collected, what you are given questionnaire to the person, and to collect that data. After that, you are arriving such a type of research is a quantitative research. Data analysis technique. Now coming to the third one is data analysis. So this is a main data analysis techniques can be followed by SWOT, conjoint, cross tables. Tabulation. What is SWOT? Strength, weakness. So these are our main thing in which we have to follow in our data collection. Strength, weakness, our opportunity, threat. So this is an example of SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for acronym of strengths, weakness, and opportunity and threat of analysis. The organization uses statistical analysis technique to evaluate their performance internally and externally to develop the effective strategy for the improvement of our research. What is a cogent analysis? See here, the cogent analysis, here we are given a small example. For purchasing a computer, we had a brand, HP, Dell, and Sony. And we are seeing the processor, it's a 4 MHz processor, and Dell is 3 MHz processor, Sony is 2 MHz processor. RAM, if you compare the RAM, 1 GB, 3 GB, and 2 GB, different between these 3 products. Monitor, if you compare 21 inches, 17 inches, 15 inches. Now, comparative of your price, that is $899 and $799 and $699. So, using this cogent analysis, we can make a complete analysis which brand we are going to buy. So, these are the main 4 main factor, 3 main factor like a processor, RAM, and monitor. These are the key factor which is used to purchase your computer. So you need a RAM and the hard disk is 1 GB. Here that the processor is 3 MHz and RAM is 3 GB RAM with the cost of $799. Here only the difference is RAM is 1 GB, but here the Dell comparative, if you go for Dell, it's about 100 differences there, but you can get a 3 GB of RAM and 3 MHz speed with a 17-inch monitor. If you go for Sony, you have 2 GB and 2 GB. So we omit that Sony. From this HP and Dell, we can see that comparative. So this is a cogent analysis of market analysis method to evaluate your research discussion during your research analysis. Now coming to the cross tabulation. In cross tabulation, how the data can be predicted and what are the variations we have to be stipulated in each tuples of the rows. For example, here we had an age, male and female, and years will be 20, 30, 40, and 50s, and total number of things will be showed here. Now, this comparative of the tables can be arrived by using the percentage. So, data here we have mostly affected, least affected, and intermediate. So, mostly affected patient we have 59%. And number of patient is affected 59 and percentage will be 30, and mostly affected percentage in the female is 30 and 99. So we can calculate both the male and female here and we can make a total number of percentage. So this type of analysis can be interlinked with the cross table analysis of your research. So instead of predicting a different table, you can predict like this. So this is one difference of table. Now somebody may use, they can put this only one table and this may be another table. So by joining this 2 tables, by using their mostly affected person, okay, least affected person, intermediate. So this makes us to examine your research work to a more and effective manner of your research. Okay, so that is a main example of things can be taken place in your cross section tabulations. Now coming to the next thing, trough analysis. So this is an analysis can be given. See, now we are conducting the online research. So how many of them are registered and how many of them are coming in YouTube and how many of them coming in the live stream by any other meet? So this can be taken by using this trough analysis. Its economy is nothing but a totally unduplicated reach, and frequently analysis is executed in situation where the research of the favorable communication source is to be analyzed. Now, I'll give you one example. You can see this example. Where do you purchase our product? Can you select all that apply? So suppose I want to buy any product in our store, online, telephone order, or through a dealer, through an agent, through a wholesaler or others. So this type of analysis is called trough analysis. Analysis we executed on each multiple choice questions. So we can give on questions. So that questions the user is used to tick how we are purchasing the product. Suppose I am purchasing the product, I'm going to the shop and buying, or I am purchasing through online. So such a type of, either I can select both also in store as well as online. So such a type of analysis can be taken place by this trough analysis. Now, see this analysis, you had an ice cream. Now, I have shown you two examples here. 15 messages could be communicated to your charity and 5 messages mostly writes to respond to your target. So I have sent 15 messages, only the 5 has responded. Okay. Now, coming to this ice cream, I had 3 flavors there, vanilla, chocolate and pista. There are combination as a 50, 30 and 20%. Somebody may use a vanilla with the chocolate combination. So this combination comes under the 80%. And vanilla with the pista combination will be 70. Somebody may use the chocolate and pista combination will be 50. So that is depend upon your research, how you are correlating, how you are combining the data from one-to-one relationship. So such a type of analysis is called trough analysis. Okay, now all this over, now comes to about the secondary qualitative research method. So this is a secondary qualitative message, a data available on the internet. So you can take the data from the internet, which is already available, like GitHub and Wind Repository. There are some websites which the data can be available for any problem. So you can go to that particular website and for your research problem, you can see the data are available. If the data are available on that particular website, you can take that such a data and compare your result and your theorem with that data. Then you can get arrived on result. So such a type of research can be taken place in the secondary quantitative research method. So that may be by internet or mobile, and the government and non-government sources or a market researcher. Suppose you want to take a study period of weather report, or you want to take a study period of COVID from the government website. Government can give a predict on conference book, public one book for their data during the COVID situation, or during the climate situation, or during that cyclonic situation. So they used to be a book. So in which all the data can be available on that particular, they can predict, depend upon the areas, how much affected, how much has been discharged, how much has been cleared. So such a type of information kept in the government sector where you can take the records. Next one is public libraries. You can take from the data from the public libraries and you can make an analysis. Education institutions and commercial information sources like local newspaper, journals, magazines, radios, and TV. So this also you can take it as a source. TV station, you can take this channel, this date, this data one speaker has given. So I have taken that. You can refer that name of the speaker and name of the channel and which date it has been given the explanation of your particular topic and the date. That's it. Time means time also you can mention. So in references you can put page number like that. You can refer this type of information in your reference also. Not the author publishing paper should be referred in the references. Whether you can reference by author publication paper, newspaper or any series or whatever it may be, or some journals or some magazines, on local newspaper or some the voice records, whatever it may be. So this is now coming to the quality. So far we have seen about the quantitative research. Now we are going for qualitative research. So qualitative research is mainly focused on the in-depth interviews and focus groups and projective techniques and case studies, grounded theory, action research, entropy, and observation. So these are all the go together from the qualitative research. So we see one by one. Focus group. Yeah, so we can see this picture itself shows you the focus group, how we are focusing our research. So by using the mentor questions, Micnic nature exchanges, the students can answer with the questions. So such a type of focus groups can be taken place in the research. Projective techniques and case studies. Here you can see a mom is sitting with your kid. Mom, I failed my maths test. So maths, madam is that is mom is guiding. That type of is called projective techniques. Once the mother has guided her kid, then she will be passing. So that is comes from the projective. So concentrating on particular thing and making our kids to grow and making our kids to pass. Next one is case study. If you go for coming to the case study, first of all we have to plan, design it, prepare it, collect it, analysis, and share it. First slide we are seeing research analysis like that. First of all, we have to plan what we are going to do, and then we have to design, then prepare that, and collect the information and analysis and share the data. So this is a grounded theory. See, the data can be scattered. How the data can be scattered? Here in the left hand side picture shows you, and the theory how we are arranging it properly. So that comes under is called as grounded theory. It's a qualitative research. See, you can see this grounded theory, that is a data and the theory. So we are applying the data to be stimulized that data, that is our variable, our values, to the proper way, proper method, a proper flow. That's from the grounded theory option. Now coming to my ethnography. So ethnography is nothing but it's observational. See here, for a form of explainer research to understand the people world, determine the way of witnessing human events in context in which they occur in everyday setting. See here, the kids is watching a grass with his lens. He is studying the grass length and width and the height of the grass and the flower. So this is what is called an ethnography. Now see, the doctors are observing the household people. One guy is reading the newspaper, and there is one woman is kitchen using the kitchen, and one kids is working with computer, and one girl is studying on the table, okay, sitting on the sofa and studying. So this type of observation can be taken place by this ethnography. So ethnography is a study which makes you that complete observational. Just we are viewing that observation, what they are doing. So such a type of research is called ethnographic research study. It is nothing but exploratory research. Next one is observational. So this is also done by observational study, where the lab studies are difficult or less useful. Researchers can observe subject in the real life environment. There are two monkeys out there. So the one lady is monitoring the monkey, what they are doing and how they are doing, and making their observation. So that type of observational study is a more important in the research activity. Next one is in-depth interviews. So what is in-depth interviews? In-depth interviews will be taken on the one-to-one, focus on one-to-one participant, how it has been participating from one-to-one. Next one is long average of more than 1 hour using a tape record. Now we are recording our face, that is YouTube, face-to-face communication, and also by using this technology which makes us to in-depth interview. See in the right hand side, the picture is also show one madam is interviewing with other students for their opportunities. Okay, so now coming to this doing a literature review. The picture shows you a paper backside. So literature review cannot be taken with a single paper or two paper or more than a 10 paper. When you're writing any research paper, minimum of 25 research papers should be there on your hand, on the coverage of what topic you are going to do. Minimum 25, maximum you can have. Okay, so doing a literature survey is a main important. Why I was telling is minimum 25 is when you start referring a article in your paper that is in the reference section, you should not put 3 or 4 or 5 or even one paper or a minimum 10 papers. You should have to put minimum 15 papers in the reference section. That is a neat way of doing your research paper in the reference section. So reference section plays a major impact of your research paper whenever you collect or whenever you collecting the literature review. So there are difference will be the survey paper and review paper. Most of them tell review paper, survey paper. What is a survey and review paper? Survey paper is nothing but where you survey the result and analysis from other paper. The review paper is nothing but where the result can be reviewed, where the result can be analyzed to your research problem. So that comes under the review paper. So mostly the researchers will, when you talk with the researcher, so my first paper is my review paper. That's a survey paper. So first of all, a survey paper is different from the review paper. Most of them tell that survey paper, but they will not tell review paper. So first is the survey paper. They will tell review paper, not tell the survey paper. So survey paper is nothing but it's nothing but one author, more than a 25 author. You are comparing the study. Then you are interpreting your paper. That's from the survey paper. A review paper is a result where the problems can be solved with the existing solution or the existing table. Now, coming to the literature review. So literature review is maybe a scientific article, it may be a book or medical journal or dissertations. Those are the things can be taken place in the literature review. Okay. Now, literature review are the three aspects. One is a primary literature review and secondary literature review and tertiary literature review. What is this primary? Primary is nothing but where it has been conducted technically, okay, by the experimental lab. Here, secondary, it can be taken from a books or literature review article or some bibliographics. Here, tertiary is nothing but it's a textbook or dictionary, encyclopedia, and handbooks. So, primary literature is the main step where the experimental research can be observed with some technical thing. So, that is from the primary literature review and the secondary literature. So these are the difference between these are the three difference between the primary, secondary, and tertiary. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of literature review? This is the main purpose. The picture shows you. First thing is find out what information is already existing in your field of research. First of all, you have to find what information is already existing in your research. So what is already exist? Then find out the gap. One thing is existing, then we have to find out the gap. Which gap we are going to use in this literature review. Find the other people are working in your field. We have to check whether they are working. Suppose you are doing your research in the graph theory, or you are doing the research in your geometry analysis. Okay, so a domination or labeling or coloring. So we have to, because so many research works can be taken place in the graph theory, labeling, coloring. So we have to find out in a labeling what gaps the other authors are fixing, and what is you are going to, who and all working on the labeling. So that has to be identified, and also we have to follow that. Next one is identify major seminal work. So as I told you, labeling. So in the labeling, we have to identify the major where in the labeling, in where it can be taken place. So we have to identify. Then identifying main methodology and research techniques. Identifying the main idea and conclusion and theories, and to establish the similarity with the difference. Then the purpose of the literature review will provide you a contest for your own research. That's a difference. That's what shows the relation between the previous studies or the theory. So this is the main purpose of the literature review. Okay, so those picture can be stimulated: listen, search, learn, and then write. So this is a smart way of literature review process. First of all, we have to listen, then we have to search the information, then we have to learn, then only last step is writing. The success of research. Next one is research objectives. Research objectives is a main part of your research, either in your thesis or in your research paper. That makes the success more in your paper. First of all, we have to be a strategy. We have to follow some strategy of your research. Then we have to plan what plan we have to execute from your strategy. Then innovate it, experiment it. Then you can get the success. So that is the main objective of your research. Okay, now coming to this type of articles. So types of articles can be taken place by using this. One is a research article, review article, and survey article. So research article is an article explores a new area of investigation, answering key research questions. That comes under the research article. And as I told you, review article and survey article is already I have discussed with you. So review article examines the previous research in an area of interest on a particular point. Survey article explains about some previous research in area of interest on a particular topic. That's what I told you. Review and survey. Survey is on the particular topic. Who and all is, for example, one person is doing research in labeling. One person is doing a research in graph theory, in a domination, and judging a graph theory. Like that, they have to see who and all the authors are working on that labeling or coloring. So we have to collect. Such a type of research is survey research. Review research is from that labeling, who and all getting the solution of 2 by 2 or 3 by 3, like that. Such a type of matrix graph applications, who and all working. So we have to take such a type of examples, and then we have to work it on that. So that comes under the review article. Okay, now coming to our research activities, how to write a research paper. So a research scientific experiment is not completed. Whenever you write research paper, whenever you complete your research theory or your thesis, you feel that your research is over. It's not over. Because in last of your thesis, you will have a section called conclusion. In that conclusion chapter, you are predicting your result, overall result in a conclusion. Then you are suggesting a new approaches may be overcome from my research. So that is what the thing. There is no end on your research. Don't fix the point, my research is completed. So that is what it's a scientific experiment is not complete until the result has been published and understood. A scientific paper is written and published the report describing the original research results. The purpose of writing the research paper is to communicate a new scientific finding. That's important. Scientific writing must use proper English which uses sense in fewer short words. Thus, it be clear and simple, well-ordered communication to transmit a new scientific or finding. So this is what, whenever you write a paper, don't wait for a duration, because day by day a new terminology, new techniques, new methods has been coming place. Whenever you write a paper, publish it as soon as possible. Once it is published, the other person can refer your article, then they can do their research work from your research. So keep on writing and publishing as soon as possible. We will see how to publish and all in the coming slides. Now, how to frame a entire paper. First of all, title. While writing a research paper, what are the steps you have to follow? First of all, title, author name, abstract keywords. These are the primary aspects of your research paper. Next topic is introduction, method, result, discussion, conclusion, and reference. So introduction tells you why, methods tells you how, results tells you what, and discussions tells you so what. Reference. So reference is last, we are citing it. What are the papers we are gathered for this particular topic? Okay, now coming to the title. Whenever you give any title of your research paper, do not use a single title. For example, definition or application of labeling or application of graphs. Don't give like, because it is a broad area. Title should be specified on your research theme. Okay, for example, in labeling, in where you are using it, where you are predicting it. So such a narrowed down topic should be mentioned in the title. You should not cut short the title by using the definition, other things. A title should be a main thing for you, like keeping your baby name. So title should be the more important. Author name. Author name is the next thing. Whenever you use your author name, for example, students and the guide, you can put a first name is a student name, research scholar, Dr. MGR University, Chennai. Next guide name, professor or associate professor, and Department of Mathematics or department, what of the department, Dr. MGR University, and the email ID. Email ID should be mentioned with the research scholar as well as the guide. So you should have to compulsory put email ID affiliation in each paper. Then abstract. Abstract is nothing but it's 150 word. We should not write 2-3 lines. It should be like 150 word to 250 words. Next, we have to give a proper introduction. So those 6 things we are going to see now. Introduction. Introduction should not give a definition. For example, you're working with label or you're working with graph. Okay, you should not give the graph definition. Okay, you should have to narrow down your introduction to that particular problem. You have to explain that introduction clearly, why we are using this, why we are doing this paper, and what are the methods we are using it, and what are the results, and what are the theorems we are using with the graphs, with the table. Those things can be discussed with your result section, and we have to give a clear discussion in a conclusion part. Conclusion part should not write 1 line of conclusion. You should be a minimum 250 words. When conclusion, once you should have to follow your future work also. because somebody may take your work and then rewrite it. If your conclusion is there when you predict your future work, okay, then you start doing the subtopic with this, so they cannot copy it. Reference should be minimum 15 reference should be there in your paper. You should not put 5 or 10. You can put 10, that's okay, but minimum 15 should be there for a good paper. Okay, how to prepare the title? So those things we are discussed in that previous chart, how to prepare a title. Title, as I told you, is giving a baby name. Okay, so title plays a major impact for all your research paper. Makes the list of most important keywords. Think the title that contains this word. Okay, anything should be there. So next one is title never contains abbreviation, chemical formula, properties, name, objection. Rethink of title before submitting the paper to the particular journal. Okay, avoid use of word using in a title. Be very careful of grammatical errors due to faulty word of orders. Suppose you are predicting one theorem, you can give that theorem name in the title also with the proper flow. Author affiliation. Yeah, author affiliation is a main part for all the author. So while predicting that 2 author, 3 author, 4 author, okay. So you should know the first author has a priority, first priority, second author has a second priority. Author priority is not there. So author may be a first author, second author. Okay. So corresponding author is different. Corresponding author is one is going to submit that paper to the journal. Any communication he will be received. That is called corresponding author. Okay. So author, when you put all the author has equal weightage in a paper, whether it is a first or last or whatever it may be. So don't think the first name is my name. I am the one. That's not like that. So author priority may be varying. Okay. So author affiliation is the main way the university or the institution where each author works. Note that some authors may affiliated with some other institution can also be, you can have a collaborational work with one institution to another institution by using this author, but their email ID and your that college name should be properly mentioned in a paper. Abstract. While writing an abstract, it should contain a brief summary of each main section of the paper. First of all, in abstract tells you what is the main background and what is the main objectives. Before writing your paper, abstracts plays a major impact. Okay, so like a book. So just don't judge the book by using the cover. You can see the great definition. Like that, abstract is a main thing of your research. That abstract should contain what is the main background of your research paper and what is the main objectives, what is the main key objectives. Next, what method you are going to adopt it and what statistical analysis you are going to use it, and what is the main finding and what application and improvement is used to suggest in this abstract. So those things can be covered by write-up in abstract. Abstract should not be a 1 page or half page. It should be a minimum of 250 words. If 250 words is nothing but 4 to 5 lines or 6 lines. That's it. Don't write it in 1 or 2 lines. 5 to 6 lines, it comes to around 250 words. So that is a proper style of writing the abstract, followed with your keywords. Okay. Now, introduction section. While they are writing abstract, next type is keyword should be there. Introduction section. So as I clearly explained you about the introduction section is the main part of your research paper. It tells you a major background of your research problem. So somebody may used to write the research in introduction itself, definition. You should not write the definition. Never combine any definition or anything in the introduction. It should be keenly address your research problem. And in the introduction itself, do not put more references. For example, you are citing 15 references and 10 references. You should not put 15 references in the introduction section. You have to narrow down. You can put some information which is related. You can refer from that in the introduction section and make a reference by box bracket or call a box bracket by one or two things. And do not use a related work in the introduction section, like author name and ETAL in the introduction section. Introduction section should cover only the introduction part of your research problem. But in the related section or literature review or related work, you can reference who and all is used this topic. You can refer what all the reference you are collected that can be taken place in the related work or literature review section. So do not interlink the related work and literature review in the introduction part. So that is the main aim of your research work. So mention the past attempt to solve this research problem or to solve the research question. Conclude the introduction by mentioning the specific objectives of your research. SMART objectives. I can take it as it is a SMART. Why I was telling it is a SMART is it's be specific. What you are going to do, that should be clearly mentioned in the objective. That's what I tell you. Objectives is a SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic, and time constraints. Achievable, measurable, realistic, time constraint. So specific, as I told you, what you are going to do in your paper, you have to mention. In related work, who and all who are done, you are mentioning. But in the objectives, what you are going to do, that should be specified in the objective. Next one is measurable. You will know when you reach your goal. That is a measurable. So I know I have reached this, I have proved this. That is a measurable. Achievable. Do not attempt too much. Don't put a lot of theorems, lot of solved problems in one paper itself. You can divide that paper. You can divide that. For example, a 10th theorem, you can put it in one paper. The another 10th theorem will be put it in another paper. Okay, so like that, achievable. Okay, do not attempt to too much in one paper itself. Realistic. It's a practice idea. Do you have necessary resources to achieve the objectives like time, money, skills, etc.? Time constraints is a main part. Determine when which each stage need to complete it. If there is a time in your schedule, you have to allow for unexpected delay. So we have to, as I told you before itself, time constraint plays a major aspect for doing your research. You should not take more than a 6-month period for writing one research paper. You can tell I can write the paper in 1 month. No. It takes a minimum period of time. Minimum period of time to write a paper. So to write your result, to carry out your result. So those constraints is the main part of your. So you target minimum 6 months of period to write one paper. The another 6 months will be a derivation of the first paper from the second paper. Methodology. Oh, what a finding valid answer to be followed in the methodology. We have to make a finding. Research method consists of several methods involved in the process of finding valid answer to all your research questions. That can be carried by the methodology part. Now see, the research design is the main thing. Involves the several procedures one has chosen the implemented to ensure that valid finding enumerate or result. The research designs can be carried out by the non-experimental, experimental, and quasi result. Non-experimental is used to describe individual variable and predict the relation between the variables. So that comes under the non-experimental. Experimental used to determine the cases of behavior that explain why the behavior occurs. So why the behavior occurs comes from the experimental. It is a relationship that is it's a pre-existing variable. So we are using the pre-existing variable and we are deriving the paper. That comes from the quasi experiment. This is occurs from the behavior of occurrence. This is between the relationship between the occurrence. That is comes from the non-experimental, experimental, and quasi-experimental. Now, thing is limitations. So limitation plays a major aspects for your research. There we have to keep our limit. Formulation of research aim and the objectives. You have the formulated research aims and objective to be broadly classified. Limitation of data collection method and sample size and lack of previous studies in research area and scope of your discussion. So those things can be taken place in your limitation part. Now compare with your difference between the result, discussion, and conclusion. How we compare our result? Result is nothing but the empirical finding of your research methods. Discussion. From the research section, you have to clearly discuss. That is, example, why these relationships are insignificant, weak, and strong. Conclusion, summary of your research. If you have to conclude your research, what contribution you have done in your research, and you have to explain the future research and the recommendation in the conclusion section. So those things can be carried out in the conclusion part. So result section, just writing conclusion. You can think conclusion, just I'm writing conclusion 1 or 2 lines. No, you should have to follow these 3 steps. One is what result you are arrived. That can be mentioned in your conclusion part. Okay, discussion, that is a result part. And what are the results you have been arrived, and what are the tables you are using, what are the graphs you are, and you have to give a complete discussion of your strength and weakness on your research work. And the conclusion part, when you're writing a conclusion part, what result you have predicted and what method you are used. From this I am getting this result, and future I can go for this. Like that you have to should be mentioned in this conclusion section. Okay, so coming to the result section itself, as I told you before itself, it has a 3 segmentation. One is a descriptive form text and providing data, numerical data in table, and visualizing observation in a graphs or figure. Okay, so first of all, a descriptive form of text. So you have a data. For a data, as I showed in the COVID patients are increasing from day to day, you can have the age limit, age, this much age, male, this much number as affected, female, this much of number. So we had a form of a text. That text can be converted, that data, that text numerical data can be converted into a table form. Then that table form can be converted into a graphs or figures. So we have to explain that graphs and figures in that result, that is the result section. Result section clearly explains you, if you use a table, then the table should be mentioned your graph. From that graph, you have to show this much percentage falls on this age, this much percentage falls on this age. So table name and graphs are the main part of in the result section. In the result section, where to place the table title. Table title should be placed on the top of the table, and the graph section, graphs or figure can be give the caption on the below the graphs or the figures below the graphs. Table, when you plot a table, the table caption should be on the top of the table, and the graph caption should be below the table, below the graphs. So we have to use fig or fig, FIG and the figure name, or somebody may use figure. So fig is the main thing, FIG dot and the figure number, and the caption to write the caption of the figure. That fig can be mentioned in that result section. You should have to mention that figure number, or which figure number you are using for this table, and so which figure you are deriving for this table. That should be mentioned in the result section. In the result section, not even put the table or graph, just write it. That's not there. You have to cite that table number. You have to cite that figure number in the result section. So that is a clear way of writing the result section. Discussion section. So you have to completely show your discussion. That is your plotted table. From the table, what you are going to give, what you are going to discuss, that should be discussed in the result table. Okay. So what problem you are trying to solve? How did you go out of solving or making the progress on the problem? What is the limitation of choosing the data? How much data useful, and after processing, what is your answer? What are the answers? So those section can be clearly explained in the discussion section. Conclusion. So as I told you before, conclusions is a summary of your research and the result of the experiment. This is where you answer your research questions. Whenever the research question comes, you are writing the paper. So you have solved that problem or a theorem. So that should be addressed in the conclusion part. You make the statement of whether your data is supported on the hypothesis or not. You may have a data that supported part of your hypothesis or not another part. You may also have a data that did not support your hypothesis at all. In these cases, you may explain why the results are different. Suppose you have plotted a data, that data is not supported in your research, you have to clearly mention it. You can use to provide a future work of your research. Okay, quoting the reference. Reference is a main thing you should be used for your research paper. That is a citations. Okay, that is citing your reference. So we can use the MLA, APA, and Chicago. So MLA is a Modern Language Association, APA is an American Psychological Association, Chicago is nothing but CMC, CMS, or Chicago Manual or Style. So this is a way you can quoting your reference. Okay. So how to quote any references, we'll see now. Okay. Okay. Now, journal article. See here, I have published an article. Okay. So name of the author name, and this. So these are the authors, and within quotation we can use the title of the paper and which journal, volume number, issue number, page number. So this is a way you have to cite your article in the reference section. So don't put a ISSN number and journal bracket, full form of the journal. Okay, so don't put that date. So you can put that month, volume also. So here in which year it has been published. You can put here volume also. You can put May also, not an issue. So this thing should be followed in the reference section. That is journal article. Journal article is like that. Another one is DOE number. So DOE number is different. Okay, cross reference in every article that has been published by DOE number. Okay, so DOE number is a number which is allotted by the cross reference of any particular journal. So this is the name of that name of author name, title of this paper, Indian Journal of Science and Technology. It is a journal name, and volume number, issue number, year, page number with the DOE. So whenever the article is not able to, sometimes site is under construction, you can copy this DOI number and go to the cross reference and paste it. You can get that paper. Okay, how to cite a book chapter, website, conference proceeding. Okay, so whenever you cite any website, you have to use this National Renewable Energy bracket, that abbreviation, and the URL. Whenever you cite any book, author name, which that is edition, year, and the title of that book chapter, okay, and which press it is there, and book chapter, handbook of learner, and edited by. These are the editors, okay, of that particular book, okay, handbook on learner. So edited by. So the volume number and page number will be there, and conference proceeding will be like this. Whenever you cite any conference, the conference proceeding should be like 10th International Conference, EMG, and Clinical Neurology, October 15, 19, Toronto. So I will show you practically how we have to get such a type of conference proceeding. So citation, yeah, this is the main thing. Citation, I-10, H index. So this is one of the main thing which can be carried out by every researcher. Citation is nothing but when you publish any article, you can refer that article on the second paper. That is called citation. Okay. So whenever your paper is referred by some others, so then the citation policy comes. I-10. Whenever the paper is cited by 10 times, it comes to the I-10. H-index. So H-index is one of the calculation. It's a minimum number of times the author has cited is called H-index. Now I'll show the H-index. So citation is whenever you cite one paper to another, that paper has a citation 1. I-10 is nothing but whenever you use one paper is cited by 10 times, it comes under I-10. H-index is nothing but the citation of the paper, minimum citation values will be calculated as H-index value. I'll tell you this H-index here. This article 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8 is there. So there are citation is 33. First article has cited 33 times. Second article cited by 30 times. Third article is cited by 20 times. So this is called citation. So here you can see this 6. H-index is 6. So minimum 6 number of time the article is cited by others. So it can be calculated as a H-index value is 6. Okay, next, what are the abstracting database available for your research? One is a Google Scholar, as you know here, everyone. The next one is ResearchGate, Scopus, ORCAD or SCID, Thomson Router, that is called Web of Science or Poplon, and Vidwan, it is MHRD, Government of India, Microsoft for Academic Search, Academia, European Alliance for Innovation, Mendeley, and SSRN. So these are the database. So why we are using this type of database? Whenever you publish any research paper, that has to be uploaded, that has to be indexed with this following databases. Google Scholar. How this Google Scholar is coming? Whenever the journal is published any article, that article is available on the online, automatically it goes to the Google Scholar. That is whenever. Next one is ResearchGate. What is a ResearchGate? ResearchGate is nothing but ResearchGate is one of the database. Whenever you publish any article, you have to upload that article in the ResearchGate in your login ID. Okay, you have to create those and all. You have to create login ID like Gmail. You are creating, like that. You have to create a login ID for those applications, for those databases, Okay. For those databases, you have to collect it. Next one is ResearchGate, Scopus. Scopus is nothing but where it's a separate database where you can publish any article from the Scopus journal. It will be indexed in Scopus. ORCD is separate, and Thomson Router, Vidwan, these are the database. I'll show you. Citation. Indexing. So citation is in indexing my SCI, Scopus, and SCI, ISI, and SSCI. These are the publishing citation index. You can publish Scopus. Apart from this, publishing SCI, Elsevier, like that. No. So such a type of citation indexing databases are there, which has a more impact value than a normal Google Scholar citations. So ISI is nothing but a Thomson Scientific Institute of Information. Okay. Next one is ISI citation index is a print or compact disk that is accessed from the Web of Science. Elsevier is nothing but a publisher of Scopus. Indian citation is different, and usage of citation or originally designed from information retrieval. Okay. And now how to write a research paper in mathematics comes to think. Before you result strengthen previous result by giving a more precise characters of something. How you have to prove a strong result of old theorem by making the hypothesis of the strengthening of your conclusion. You have to prove the equivalence of two definitions. Okay, that is a classification of theorem structure which we have previously defined but not understood. Thus is connected to previous unrelated aspects of the mathematics. That is apply the new methods or to old problems. Okay. Okay. Now this is strength. Does your result strengthen your previous result? Yes, my paper is strengthened with the previous work. You have to prove, you have to solve it. So that's the picture shows you. Okay, have you proved the stronger result for the older theorem? This man is there. This man with you are using computer and proving some result. So this makes here old theorem by weakening to the new strengthening of the theorem. Okay, have you proven the equivalence of two definition? Yeah, null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. So null hypothesis, the population means are equals, and alternate population means are differ. So this is where you have to prove yourself. This is assume, this is prove. First one is null hypothesis is assume. Just we are assuming. You are proving it. No, that comes under this alternative hypothesis. Yeah, is it a classification of theorem of a structure which you previously defined but not understood? So I have proven a theorem, but it's not clearly understood. So for this, you have to plot it. Is connected to previously unrelated aspects of matter. See, the guy which shows the two ropes, two balloons are there. One is a long balloon and a short balloon. So which is more effective for doing your unrelated aspects of your mathematics? See here. Does it apply for the new method to a older problem? Yeah. See that the board and the system. How you multiply 20 into 23 by 7 using both old new method and old method. So you can show this long form method and box method, which makes your calculation more fast than a long form method as well as box method. So this makes you to solve a new method to a old problem method. Is this a special case for the logic questions? Yeah, we'll see it. Okay, formula and informal. So what is a formal and formal expression is a formal sector regulated by a state policy and information is outside that body. Now coming to this title and acknowledgement of your paper. So use well keywords and observation, no abbreviations, avoid symbols in a title of the paper. Numerical stability of fixed infinite element methods or visualities follow. Acknowledgement, thank the people. You can give an acknowledgement after the ending of your paper. So I used this research again. I used this research lab. I used this department of mathematics from this institution. You can quote this, and also you can quote some authors or some professors who has helped to solve the problem. Introduction section should be clear, should not copy and paste because it shows the plagiarism. Again, interest you read that first paragraph. Zoom the picture towards the specific result. Zoom in form to be a bigger picture. Don't be constrained in writing it. So what you have to use this keyword. States contents of the problem should be there in your structure of the introduction. It's a proper word. You can see this let x is greater than 0 where x satisfy x. So how to avoid such a type of observation? We can see here in this avoiding such a type of observation to make it as clear way of writing the paper. Body of the problems, work, example structure, introduction, proof of the theorem, proof of theorem 2, proof of theorem 3, and extension. In the introduction section, you can have numerical schemes and mainly result, existing discrete solution and numerical coverage. So these are the things can be covered in the body of the work. That is from the introduction section. How to write a proof, basically, in a mathematics. So avoiding a logical steps, but do not explain obviously argument. Okay, by adding abstract, subtracting, B, C, here you can see this. Just each steps give a clear argument. It is easy to see that ... By using the invariance, the principle, we find that. So we have to use such a type of word while writing in a theorem or a proving that. Break the proof in a smaller pieces. Don't be lengthened. At the end of long argument, summarizes it. Mark end of the proof. See, there's a proper way of writing is. So total revenue R from selling this widgets is given by the equation R equal to PQ. So you can derive like this. Then you can see what is a P, what is a R. You have to explain what is a percentage. Then the result equation can be explained. So this is a way you have to. So after writing R is equal to P by Q, don't go to this. What is this R? What is this P? And what is this value? What value we are giving? You have to explain previously. Then follow this equation. Don't just go like a flow of equations. See here. See, you can see this how this sentence and how this sentence. So if BD is box distance among the ground in n feet, then D is equal to say 100 minus 16 feet square. So instead of writing such a type of paragraph, full paragraph, you can make the clear sentence, break the sentence, and derive the equation properly, and write another one more sentence where T is a number of seconds after box, and make such a type of equation and prove and end it. So this is wrong and this is correct. So defining a variable in formula, how to define the variable. So this is a way you have to define the variable. Okay, so for either n or n plus 1 is even, where you can write for any whole number n, either n or n plus 1 is even. So this is a correct way of writing the variables in a formula. Okay, symbols. So avoiding such a type of symbol and how to derive such a type of symbol. See here. The equation styles and the flow of writing derivation should be like this. It should not be like this. So we have the correct style because it's our paper. It's our research paper. We have to make fine tune our style we can prove in the paper. So this is another form. It follows that x plus not 2 is larger than a. Instead of writing in word, it flows that x plus 2 is greater than 0. This is a way of writing it. And miscellaneous commands. So if f is global flexible at x is equal to 3, instead of that, you can write such a type of equation. That is such a type of flow. Wording should be a proper, and equation should be a. Next, equation shows like this. You can show like this. And some of the defining the variables and formula. So n plus n or n plus is, we have already showed this. We can use this. Volume is WH. Volume of text box of the length is width and height. Instead of giving such a one word meaning, you can the volume of box is the product of the length and the width and the length. So this is a way you have to write it. As a researchers, you have to follow. Okay. Next, plotting a graph. So in the plotting of graph, see this graph and this graph. We have to show the points, which points limits from which from limit. And also you have to show the x and y axis labeling. So that is the main thing. In every researchers has to follow this labeling. X and y axis labeling should be compulsory, should be there in each graphs. Okay, optional elements. So what are the optional elements is conclusions. Okay, conclusions. Some journals require their concluding sections. Do not just repeat the introduction. We should not repeat the introduction section and the conclusion. Conclusion is the main thing which frame your work. And consider future work. So that is, you have to add the future work also. So appendix. Yeah, you can use some result, some proven screenshot in the appendix. What are your proved, some screenshot, some system output, some real-time example, you go and taking some real-time example from outside world, that also you can place in the appendix. So for you are going survey with some other places and just sitting with some proposal, collecting some data, that photos also you can include in the appendix section. So next, reference. Yeah, reference, as I told you clearly, reference plays a major impact. How to cite the reference and all, I'll show you now. And pre-print archives. So pre-print archives, nothing but a paper. Once the paper is can be printed in a print copy also, instead of online journal also. So you do not publish paper in this archives, copyright seeing. So do not publish article which makes you fast publication, paying, I think. So because once you paid some certain period of time, the Scopus will discontinue that journal. So because the volume of increasing publication of that particular journal. So while publishing is just check for the clarity of the publishers, that journal, whether they are publishing huge number of papers. If journal is publishing huge number of papers, automatically it will be open it once again. Hello? Hello? Madam? Oh. Publication of time. So what are the time of publications and submission process? So before submitting journal, you have to follow that editors. what are editor-in-chief and what are the reference and publication, how they are taking how much days and how much month. And discussion is whenever you submit the journal, what are the revision has been taking place by major or minor revisions. That should be followed. Then the journal is good. And plagiarism is policy is main thing for any article. Once you copy it from one paper to another paper is a plagiarism. So this is a thing which you are used for copying from one to one is a paper one to paper two. And the type of plagiarism you have paraphrased plagiarism and complete paraphrase. Paraphrase copied is not copied one idea. That is called paraphrase plagiarism, and complete plagiarism is copied some work. Is called paraphrase complete plagiarism. Self plagiarism is nothing but is internet copied from the internet sources, from other sources. So you copied some information and it is not cited. It's from the lazy program. And copyright and infringement is nothing but use someone work without permission. That comes under the copyright infringement. Mosaic is nothing but students borrow from one sources without using quotation mark. That is comes under the mosaic plagiarism. So plagiarism, this much plagiarism before taking any content, you have to cite it, we have to quote it. That should be followed by the plagiarism policy. Okay, the plagiarism policy shows like this. With no matches comes from this blue color, green color is some of the similarity. This is a thing which you are using for Turnitin. So green and yellow color is comes from the 25 to 50, 25 to 49 percentage of color variation from the plagiarisms. So this is whenever the article is highlighted with red color, the plagiarism shows here. So you have to use and you have to cite that number. So you have to cite it to avoid the plagiarism. And searching an article for a conference proceedings. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity provided for the today's section. So if you had any doubt, you can ask me.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session, which was more informative and so lively. So our inbox is full, but there is no question, sir. On behalf of Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute Phase 2, Adayalambattu Campus, we would like to present the appreciation certificate to our beloved resource person as a token of love and affection. Our technical team will display the appreciation certificate. என்னாச்சு? I now call upon Mrs. C. Finil Jofila, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening to one and all present here. I feel very glad to give vote of thanks for a one-day national level webinar on methods and approaches of quantitative research in writing research article. First of all, I would like to thank our President, Engineer ACS Arun Kumar sir, for accepting our request to conduct this e-webinar in a grand manner. I special thanks to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Geetalakshmi ma'am, our Joint Registrar, Dr. S. Ramalingam, Dean, Dr. S. Manivannan, and Deputy Dean Academic, Dr. A.R. Arnachalam, Deputy Dean Admin, Dr. Sendil Kumar, for their support to conduct this e-webinar. My heartfelt thanks for our HOD of the department, Dr. T. Johnson, and HOD in charge Phase 2, Dr. R. Nagaratnam, for their motivation and support. My special thanks to our chief guest, Dr. G. Susindran, for accepting our invitation in her busy schedule. He had a wonderful and highly informative presentation. Thank you, sir. I would like to thank all my department faculty members for their great effort and support. A special thanks to our technical in charge, Mr. S. Ganesh Babu and Dr. Ashini and Ms. Akshaya from Department of English for their full support in this event. Finally, I thank all the participants for participating in this e-webinar. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. With that note, we came to the end of the day of this national webinar. The feedback cum assessment form is available in the YouTube description box. You are requested to complete and submit the form before today by 7 p.m. Later, the form will be deactivated. The e-certificate for the participation will be sent to registered email within 2 to 3 working days. As per our policy, we normally won't request speakers to share their PPT, but at the same time, this video will be ever available in our YouTube channel. Participants can view at any moment. We have come to the end of the program and hope everyone has gained knowledge. With the satisfaction of conducting the webinar successfully, we wish to signing off and meet you in the next program. Don't forget to submit your feedback form and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Dr. MGR University Face to Digital Learning, for the further updates about our programs and videos. Thank you.